You've just stepped into a colonial winter evening. The sun has already dipped below the tree line, and the world outside your small window is turning the color of cold iron. You, not in your own bed, you re-wrapped in a scratchy wool blanket on a rope-strung bed in a one-room cabin somewhere in Massachusetts, sometime in the 1740s. The air inside is thick with the smell of wood smoke, boiled turnips, and the faint, sour tang of yesterday's cider. Your fingers are stiff, your toes ache with cold, and yet you feel safe, because this is home. And tonight, like every night, survival is a quiet, shared victory. You sit up slowly, straw poking through the thin ticking of your mattress. Across the room, your mother stirs the embers in the hearth with an iron poker. Sparks leap like fireflies before vanishing into the dark throat of the chimney. She doesn't look at you. She doesn't need to. She knows you're awake. In a house this small, with 6 people, a dog, and a crate of chickens tucked near the door for warmth, there's no such thing as privacy, only presence. "Fetch the water bucket, child," she says, her voice low and steady, like the creak of floorboards under snow. The kettle's near empty. You nod, though she isn't looking, and swing your legs over the side of the bed. Your feet hit the dirt floor hard-packed, swept clean this morning, but still cold enough to steal your breath. You pull on your one pair of stockings, darned so many times they're more patch than original wool, and slip your feet into wooden clogs your brother carved last spring. They're too big, but they keep your soles off the frozen ground. Outside, the world is hushed. Snow blankets everything, rooftops, stumps, the stone wall your father built one rock at a time. The air bites your cheeks, sharp and clean, and your breath plumes like smoke from a chimney. You walk carefully to the well, your steps crunching in the snow. The rope is stiff with ice, and it takes both hands to crank the bucket up. The water inside is black and still, so cold it burns your fingers through the wool of your mittens. You carry it back slowly, arms trembling, eyes fixed on the warm yellow glow spilling from your doorway. Back inside, your mother pours the water into the kettle and hangs it over the fire. The hiss and pop of the flames sound like conversation. Your younger brother is feeding kindling to the blaze, his face smudged with soot. Your father sits at the table, mending a broken harness with waxed thread, his hands moving with the quiet confidence of someone who's fixed 1,000 things with nothing but patience and a knife. On the hearthstone, your baby sister sleeps in a cradle made from a flour sack and a wooden crate, wrapped in every spare scrap of cloth the family owns. There will be no grand feast tonight. Supper is a pot of stew, mostly turnips, a few shreds of salt pork, and some dried beans soaked since morning. But it's hot, and it's enough. You watch as your mother ladles it into wooden bowls, her knuckles red and cracked from a lifetime of hauling water, scrubbing clothes, and kneading bread. She doesn't complain, no one does. Complaining doesn't fill bellies or mend roofs or keep wolves from the sheep pen. As you eat, your father tells a story not from a book. You own none, except the Bible, but from memory. It's about his grandfather who crossed the ocean in a ship so small it seemed like a walnut shell on the sea. He speaks softly, but his voice fills the room, weaving courage into the cracks between the logs. You listen with your spoon halfway to your mouth, the stew forgotten for a moment. Stories like this are how history lives here, not in ink, but in breath. When the bowls are scraped clean, your mother brings out her spinning wheel. The rhythmic hum begins a sound as familiar as your own heartbeat. Your sister joins her at the loom in the corner, weaving strips of homespun into a blanket that will keep someone warm next winter. You're too young for either task, so you're given a basket of wool to pick, pulling out twigs, burrs, and matted clumps so the fibers can be spun smooth. It's tedious work, but your fingers are quick and you take pride in it. Every thread you help prepare might become a shirt, a sock, a shawl that keeps your family alive. Outside, the wind picks up, howling through the eaves like a lost spirit. But inside, the fire crackles. The dog sighs in his sleep. Your baby sister coos softly in her cradle, and for a moment, the weight of the world feels lighter. Later, when the oil lamp is snuffed and only the embers glow, you crawl back under your blanket. The cold creeps in around the edges, but your brother is already snoring beside you, radiating heat like a small furnace. You stare at the ceiling rough-hewn beams darkened by decades of smoke and think about tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll check the snares in the woods. Tomorrow you'll help churn butter if the cow gives milk. Tomorrow you'll carry more water, mend more clothes, pray the roof doesn't leak when the next storm hits. But tonight you are warm, you are fed, you are loved. And in colonial America, that is not just comfort, it is grace. As you drift off, you hear your parents whispering by the fire. Not about taxes or kings or distant wars, those troubles haven't reached your door yet. They're talking about seeds, about whether the frost has killed the apple grafts, about how your sister's cough has eased. Their voices are soft, steady, full of the kind of hope that doesn't need fanfare. It's the hope of people who know that survival isn't dramatic, it's daily, and that every day they wake up together is a kind of miracle. Outside, snow continues to fall, blanketing the world in silence. Inside, 6 hearts beat in the dark, alive together, building a nation one humble evening at a time. If you've enjoyed stepping into the past with us tonight, we'd be so grateful if you'd help this channel grow. Like this video, it tells the algorithm you want more stories like this. Comment below with where you re-listening from and what time it is in your part of the world. We love knowing who is out there with us in the quiet hours. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a journey back in time. Every like, comment, and subscription helps us keep the hearth fire burning and bring more immersive stories from history straight to your screen. Thank you for listening, for remembering, and for walking these old paths with us.